Generals, gentlemen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Company of Heroes 2. Here we are, the Generals, Gentlemen, myself, the machine.
Thanks for being Archon Hawk. Going to be casting a game here on Langreskaya, the summer version. There's no snow here, no snow to be found. I'm going to say right, the top right here.
Oh, here we go. Look at that rear echelon.
What? Is going to be WMD.Spanky, and this is why we check replays, machine.
Now, we haven't seen this before, and it didn't work.
No, it didn't work. For obvious reasons.
I think it was once over, maybe? But
It
yeah,
might have been. This is going to happen, isn't it?
He's putting a lot of tank traps. Bear in mind, tank traps are actually heavy cover.
Yeah.
So what you do is you put tank traps, and then you put barbed wire in front of it.
Or you build fighting positions all over the map.
Now, this could be really interesting.
This could definitely be interesting. His opponent is going to be, though, we might as well announce him playing as our OKW. It's going to be
Angreifen!
he changed his name.
Formerly PanzerGrenadier 1942. We'll get the fighting position in time. Bear in mind, fighting positions, they can be destroyed by small armed rifle grenades. Will come through.
I want to see if it does any damage to the truck.
Well, it probably won't hit.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit moving targets very well.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, wow, but actually, we'll hit the Stern Pioneers. Didn't do a lot, though. They're not great.
Yeah.
The rifle grenades, but they're free and they hit over objects. So, yeah, I'm not sure because the rear echelon, you get a lot of capping power, but you don't really get any way of actually engaging the Sturm Pioneers. With the garrison, he might be fine because of the garrison armor, but when it comes to engagements in the open, he just can't trade with the Sturm Pioneers and with the Grenadiers. We'll have the Rifleman coming out now as his 5th squad. It's nice to see. And the thing is with Langreskaya is because of how close all of these points are, especially as the south, it's very hard to decap your opponent, especially once the Panzer headquarters come out. Not like on, say, Mink's Pocket, where you can just decap everything and just get so much map control. So I don't think this is a very good map for rear echelon, but we will have to see. Because
we're going to find out right now, aren't we? I mean, 4 of them.
Yeah, PanzerGrenadier Alpha version, he already has more map control than what Spanky does, and he actually has, you know, combat infantry, so he can hold the territory. I don't know, maybe Spanky's experimenting. Maybe he's just trying to shake things up and see what works and experiment.
That's the only way we innovate, isn't it, Machine? I mean, we really have to test things out and see if they do work. Riflemen return to the heavy cover.
The truck will push it away, though, so the Grenadiers will be able to deal with them no problems. I think there's only... Oh, no, there's 3 windows there, so plenty of windows.
Nice push.
All the windows that you need.
I actually get some crushes here.
No,
they can't crush.
No, not anymore.
I just remembered, yeah.
And a Kubelwagen.
I remember they can't crush. Yeah, Kubelwagen on the field as well. Going to probably be nice. 3 Vol squads coming out here from PanzerGrenadier. I can't pronounce it properly, so I think I'm just going to have to say like PanzerGrenadier and then you pronounce it after me.
Right.
So
well, you can just
give it a shot.
PanzerGrenadier, whatever.
PanzerGrenadier playing nicely though. Just having most of his map pressure. There's a couple of real echelon squads going to be decapping his fuel, however. And another one going for his cutoff, so looking to deny anything in terms of income.
The other thing as well, it's not like the north side of Langreskaya is particularly a spot where you have a lot of easy munitions, because if there was a lot of munitions here for Spanky, he could consistently use the volley fire and win engagements via the suppression, but he doesn't really have any munitions. Getting the 50 cal upgrades will on that fighting position, so he will hold his cutoff. Right, we'll have to see how he techs. He's got 80 field, probably going to go for a captain. I thought we may have seen like a really quick tech M20.
That's what I thought as well, with that many rear echelon.
And then you have so much repairs. But going to go for the Stuart by the looks of it, 2 volt rear echelon, probably can actually win this one because of how close they are.
Yeah, the Volts walk really close to stop the cap.
They if they were at distance, they would have won the engagement here. They're cheap to reinforce as well, though, than the rear echelon. So, oh, we lost a rear echelon squad though.
On the right hand side, there was only 1 member left. I think the Volts managed to wipe that. Kubelwagen taking a fair bit of poke there actually from the MG. It's got to be careful.
Kubelwagens are very strong now, but they're still incredibly squishy.
Yeah.
They do get taken out incredibly quickly. And there is the Mechanized Regiment headquarters. So probably going to see a Puma, and that would be an excellent response to that Stuart.
They deal with that extremely effectively there. So the captain's going to be coming out now, but still the Stuart quite a while away. So we really have to see Spanky focusing on this fuel, which he is. Has capped the bottom now, so we'll have a little bit of income, at least for some time, but has to make sure he doesn't get pushed back from this point. Has to make sure he holds onto a fuel and at least gets the Stuart out in some timely manner. Where do you lock in?
He's going for the recon support. So, interesting. Having the forward observer is really nice to have on your rifleman.
It's got Greyhounds, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't actually affect the rear echelon though. But having the Greyhound... yeah, because he needs 3 command points for it. So he's a bit far off. Because he hasn't been engaging a lot, because rear echelon can't engage, it means he doesn't have a lot of command points. But the captain will give a fair bit of AT, which he'll need against the Kubelwagen. But with the bazooka nerfs, they don't hit as much as they used to. So the captain's definitely a fair bit weaker at taking out those Kubelwagens. Now, and that's before you factor in all the buffs on the Kubelwagen. It's faster acceleration. So Kubelwagens, they're a little bit more durable against those bazookas. Rear echelon going to back away, and with the Panzer Fusiliers on the field, it's going to give a lot of infantry firepower here for PanzerGrenadierAngreifen, especially given the fact there's no lieutenant on the field.
Be very, very difficult there. Stays out of range of the captain's Thompson. Captain is going to be moving in. We'll probably still lose this. To drop a model there. Ooh,
I think the bazooka hit someone,
yeah. Or at least 2.
I believe the Thompson was also nerfed a bit, if I'm not mistaken, for the lieutenant and for the captain. But not a lot of map control here at all. PanzerGrenadierAngreifen definitely having the initiative. Doesn't look like he's actually going for a Puma yet. He's probably going to wait until there's actually some sort of AT, or maybe he's going to go for the Panzer II. Volley fire will get the suppression on to the Panzer Fusiliers. Kubel as well will take out the rifle, and they're very, very close to hitting that Vet 1 for the AT grenade. Probably why they were going that aggressive. Stim Officer as well gives some fair bit of extra damage with that buff.
We'll have to see how he decides to play around that one in Panzer Grenadier. Group up just a little bit there. MG was flanked previously there, did actually jump over the fence to get away from that one. And mate Greyhound has now hit the field, so that's what Spanky's going for here. This is the 4 echelon playstyle apparently.
Yeah, really going to be good against the Kubelwagen. We'll take that out incredibly quickly if it gets caught, and it looks as though it will. Didn't quite expect. It doesn't have a lot of damage, but it has some pretty good rate of fire. Not actually chasing it down, which is a big surprise, because now that the Greyhound has been revealed, the Kubelwagen will be a lot more defensive, and there wasn't any AT on the Volksgrenadiers, so I think Spanky lost a big opportunity to have some sort of comeback by wiping out the Kubelwagen.
We definitely should have gone for that one there. We'll have to see how much pressure the M8 can actually put on before a Puma or something comes down. And of course it did delay the ambulance a little bit here. The ambulance is only just hitting the field. We'll heal up those squads. Luckily he didn't lose too much health over the course of the game thus far. Having not been very aggressive, Spanky playing a very, very defensive game. Just trying to cap, if nothing else.
Sometimes you can get those engagements where you don't lose any riflemen, but they're all on half HP, and you need the ambulance. Doesn't quite happen yet for Spanky. So far we have 3 Volks, Panzer Fusiliers, Sturm Officer, and the original Sturm Pioneer on top of that Kubelwagen. So a lot of infantry, and hasn't actually gone for his tier 4 yet. I'm surprised there hasn't been a really quick Panzer II. It's a very common playstyle. The Panzer II is incredibly strong. Greyhound, gotta be careful, will get 2-shotted by the Shrek.
So P2 should be able to deal with the Greyhound really easily, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I think.
It would be nice. Might be a Puma. No, it's gonna be a Puma coming down here, so a little bit more safety coming out here for PanzerGrenadier. Does want the ability to deal with anything else that can possibly come out here from Spanky. He hasn't had a lot of impact yet.
He may land the AT grenade for the Puma. That was actually the canister shot, but it only hit one of those Volks. He will be able to just repair that with the vehicle crew, so not a huge deal. Actually, I've never seen a Greyhound versus a Panzer II. The Panzer II destroys the M20.
I mean, it's got so much burst damage, but it can be deceptive in the way they look. I mean, when we first saw the Puma, we're just like, yeah man, my T-34 76 should be able to deal with that. They're a medium tank. And then it's like, well no, actually the Puma may look like a vehicle. It is in fact the #1 medium tank killer in the world. So hard to deal with. All Bullbuggin has to be careful here. Might actually hit bazooka shots, but...
Oh, wow, they both hit
they
max
both hit.
range.
Wow.
That was some good RNG there, and he will get the wipe on the Kubelwagen. And now the Puma on the field will force away the Greyhound.
That was one shot.
Greyhound does have the smoke as well.
Damage.
Shrek didn't quite land, despite the Storm Officer buff, giving it the extra accuracy.
Puma is going to be going on the chase here.
Let's see if he can actually take it out. The Greyhound stops. That may be a bit of a problem here.
Puma's going to be firing away on the Rifleman, though. Did miss a shot. Does hit another one, though.
One more will take it out. The Stone Wall will give some extra defensive, but the Puma wipes it in the end.
Puma just not missing those shots at all.
He missed a couple, but he got enough in the end, and the Captain will have a bit of good damage. Trying to snipe the ambo, always a good move to do if you can. Wasn't able to in the end.
Yeah, he hit a couple, missed a couple when he was trying the Rifleman, but firing actually directly on the Greyhound did very nicely. So now Spanky's in a bit of trouble. He's lost the Greyhound, lost the initiative, and he's very, very low on fuel as well. So he's going to pull out something pretty special.
Yeah,
this game back, especially given the commander choice that he's gone for.
Does it wipe the fighting position? Nice move by PanzerGrenadier. Will open up the potential for decapping that cutoff. And without the Greyhound, there's no chance for Spanky to deal with the Panzer Fusiliers, especially with the buff from the Storm Officer. Captain as well drops a bazooka and may get wiped here. Grenade coming through from the Volksgrens. Nice dodge though from Spanky.
Away from that one, does pick up the bazooka though, securing that one.
Rear Echelon may get wiped through retreat. Some officers being focused though, will perhaps force the retreat.
Ooh, Storm Officer does get dropped there. Retreat is forced. Well, squad will actually have to back away from that one, but there's still the back line there. A couple of squads of those Panzer Fusiliers going to have a pretty fun time. T-43s are very, very nice.
Now take a look at the manpower here for Spanky. He's floating, but it's okay because he's really close to affording the airdrop combat group. Do you know what it is?
I've never seen it. I do know what it is. Paratroopers and AT guns.
Yeah, you get two paratroopers with a random assortment of weapons.
Oh, okay.
Bazooka,
cool.
M19s or Thompsons, random, and one AT gun.
Nice.
Well, that's a pretty aggressive spot to have the Panzer headquarters, but it will hold the fuel and the munitions. Nice position, actually. I quite like that because the garrisons will give it a lot of safety. You have to go in very deep to try and snipe it with the AT guns, in which it will be within range. So unless he tries to go above, that would work as well with the AT guns. But it's going to be pretty exposed if he does. Now, the problem with the airdrop combat group, and one of the reasons why it isn't that popular, is because a lot of times you can get weapons that you don't want.
Oh, okay.
You can get double bazookas, and a lot of times you want M19s or Thompsons. You need the anti-infantry firepower, but you just don't get it. Or vice versa for AT, you can really want the bazookas, but not get the bazookas. So we'll have to see what we actually get. M19s, AT gun, double M19s. So that will give a lot of really strong infantry for Spanky, which I think is exactly what he needs.
He'll be very happy with that drop.
And doesn't really need the AT because there's only the Puma, which he can just deal with the two bazookas on the Captain and the Rifleman, of course, with that AT gun as well. As for PanzerGrenadierAngreifen, did he get his, oh no, he's got his tier 4.
So he's got his tier 4, yes.
Not sure what he's going to go for here. He can go for either the King Tiger if he saves up for it after getting the battle group headquarters, or he may even go for a Panther if he needs the AT. Captain only has one bazooka, so it won't be that powerful.
Has the option for Oversoldat now as well if he needs them. If you can get them out soon, they might deal okay with the M19 airborne, but it's going to be a bit hard for Spanky to actually... Sorry, it's going to be easy for Spanky to push back now. He does have, of course, those paratroopers.
I think that was a really good drop.
It definitely was for him, because once he can get those into some nice cover positions, he is starting to retake the map now.
And that was really nice play by PanzerGrenadierAngreifen. He pushed the paratroopers, so the M19s weren't firing on the Volksgrens. He may have lost that Volksgren squad if he wasn't actually pushing it. There were still a couple of rifles, but the M19s weren't firing.
Some nice play coming out there. So a bit of a rifleman push on the left-hand side here. Spanky, he is spiking up right now and really does want to take a bit of this map back. So he can cover a few more points there. Still has the fuel available on the right. Does need to send something over there to get them. And it has at least held on to 3 of these rear echelon squads. Something that I've always struggled with. I tend to always lose my rear echelon. I mean, it happens all the time. You just forget about them, but 5-man squad there now for that particular squad.
Well, I'm not really sure what he's looking to do with the rear echelon. You can give them bazookas, and there's a fair bit of munitions, so he can do that. Just give them munitions, because they can't really do much else. Apart from repairs, you can give them bars, but generally it's worth just giving bars to riflemen, and bars aren't that good anyway, since they got nerfed quite significantly in the latest patch. So Spanky's doing okay, but I really think that he'd be a lot better off if those 4 rear echelon were 3 riflemen instead.
Definitely an interesting play style. See if it pays off for him. Big push coming through on the left here for PanzerGrenadier, and he's actually gone for a P2. The Panzer II is on the right-hand side. We'll see what he can manage to do with that. It might be really, really nice to deal with those airborne.
Exactly. I think the Panzer II is a really good choice, because with double M19 airborne, he's going to be struggling. Unless he has Oversoldaten, which he hasn't done so yet, then you don't really have the better infantry engagements unless you have a nice angle and catch them out of position. So the Panzer II, as long as he keeps it alive, as long as he avoids the AT gun, then I think that Panzer II is going to have a pretty big impact. It's also very strong at catching units on retreat. M19 is going to be firing against the Volksgrenadiers. Not exactly a good engagement here for PanzerGrenadier. May lose that Volk squad, and the Panzerschreck is dropped. That's a huge blow, because the Panzerschrecks are very effective. A little bit late on the forced retreat, and he gets that Shrek, but he drops it back.
The captain, says, here you go, you can have this back. He was going for the bazooka and the Shrek on the captain, because he dropped the bazooka earlier, and instead loses the captain.
Oh, he's got to be so careful! No! He loses the Storm Officer, and he retreated, so he couldn't get the Panzerschreck.
The airborne can't grab them, though, and where's the P2 at?
Oh, they can, wow.
Oh, they can? What?
And with the Shrek, he may even wipe that Puma. I think he was looking to get the Shrek with his Volsk, because they weren't quite within range. The Storm Officer probably would have got it, but he didn't actually tell it to. So, that's a huge blow now, losing that Shrek.
That's a massive deal there. Puma does end up popping the smoke there, and I didn't know you could pick up bazookas on
airborne.
Yeah, on airborne with M19s.
Yeah, the Shrek will be very powerful against the Panzer II.
Wow.
That's the problem now with the Shrek. Oh, he loses the Panzer II! He shouldn't have gone into that Shrek, because now the Panzer II's purpose was to take out the M19 airborne. But if they have a Shrek, well, you can't do that anymore. So there is the battle group headquarters. So it looks as though PanzerGrenadierAngreifen will be going for the... Oh no, he loses the Puma! What was he trying to do?
I have no idea. Caught way out of position.
He knew the M1 was there. The M1 had revealed itself and it had killed the Panzer II, because now, without the Puma, if a Sherman comes out, there's no response for PanzerGrenadierAngreifen. He's rebuilding his Panzer II, and he's got no squads left.
That's not P2 coming out, is that?
That's Panzer II.
What?
It's Panzer II.
Oh no, it is too. Yep.
Now
that's surprising.
It is, because the problem is Spanky can just pull out a Sherman. Does he have his major?
Doesn't have his major. Oh no, he does. No, the major's on the field now, and he has 115 fuel. So Sherman definitely what I'd be going for.
Or maybe even an M8.
Yeah.
The M8's better against infantry, but the Sherman's definitely going to be good against the Panzer II. Salvaging is nice to see. We'll give a bit of extra fuel in the bank, and there's a lot of the wrecks to actually salvage. Stim Pioneers forcing where the riflemen with the M19s have shown up. Is that one M19?
That might be why. I mean, it looks like...
There's only one.
It looks like one M19.
Wow. I thought there was 2. I know it is 2 when you get the...
It is 2 when you get the upgrade. I'm thinking that's why he managed to pick up the bazooka as well, because that's the squad with the P-Shrek, of course. So that's the squad with the P-Shrek and the M19. That's exactly... If I could get that upgrade on my airborne, I'd be very, very happy.
Yeah.
Definitely what I'd be wanting there. The M1's going to be forced off in the middle. So that P2, I think... Probably not the best of ideas.
Yeah, Sherman coming out.
Given that the Sherman is coming out, and just the fact that there's at least a P-Shrek and a bazooka on the field with the M1 can be very, very hard to use that P2.
Yeah, exactly. Don't actually know if the Panzer headquarters can fire through that. I guess we'll find out quite soon. Doesn't look like it can. So
can't see at least.
What he could do is crush that with... I think the truck, maybe. I don't know if he can crush that with a truck, but getting rid of that hedge would be nice too. Maybe even Shreks, just so he can actually fire on the fuel. Loses the officer, so it will force the retreat. Gets the cut off, but he won't have it cut off for very long.
So the officer positioning here from PanzerGrenadier could use some work. He tends to be in the front lines a little bit more than he should. Should be placed a little bit further back. P2 may find a nice wipe here.
Yeah, they can chase on a retreat incredibly strong. Because when you go their airborne company, the paratroopers do have double M19s, right?
Yes, yes. As far as I'm aware.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
So it seems that that is one weakness of the airdrop company, but there's no munitions. So you're getting those upgrades for free, essentially, I guess. Where normally you have to pay a lot of munitions. Guess the wipe. See, that was what I was referring to.
That's the real chase. And you didn't even start chasing immediately. With that being said, Sherman says, hello, fires into the wood shack, though, so he may get the chase.
And the M1 as well does miss. The Panzer II on the road will have the extra speed. Gets cut off by a bazooka. He's behind the hedge. Will be a nice shot blocker. Sherman wants to go balls deep. But can he get the killing blow here? No, he doesn't. The Panzer II, much smaller, able to navigate through the hedge a lot easier. Actually, really nice play, duking into the hedge. If he stayed on the road, he probably would have taken out.
Definitely some good play coming out there from PanzerGrenadier. Nice micro, if nothing else. Could play that very, very nicely. So the Sherman will back away in the end from this one. Major not being used as a forward retreat point. He's just going to be chilling in base for now.
It's kind of hard to have a forward retreat point here.
On Langres, yeah.
There aren't many safe spots.
There's not a nice place to be, is there?
Maybe behind that garrison or next to the hedge, but there's nowhere where you can sit behind. Whereas on the south, you have this hedge. So the south is generally a lot stronger. It's just a better spot to be. Better points, better shot blockers, easier to hold your territory. And what you could do is, if there isn't really much potential for a forward retreat point, is you can evacuate the medics, put the major in the ambulance, have the heals in your base from the surgeons, but then have the ambo driving around healing units on the field.
Can be nice. And then you have a completely useless major ID just in case you just do want to use it.
And it's not like he can use the recon run because he actually has it on his commander, so there's not much point.
Not really. So it looks like the airborne going aggressive. Not exactly what they want to do. Might get wiped.
Wow, looking for a grenade, but was it worth it?
No.
He didn't need to go in close because he has the M19, so he has the long range engagement. He almost lost that Vet 2 squad. Panzer 2 still being pretty effective despite the Sherman and the AT, so nice play thus far. Volks in their garrison will be excellent at deterring the Sherman. It's one advantage of the M8s is they do have better anti-garrison than the Shermans.
Yeah, look, I mean, pretty surprising that the airborne decided to go for that one. You're going to lose a lot of DPS, even if the nade is a really, really nice one. The fact that your M19 isn't firing and you've got 2 members left.
Yeah, and then you have to break cover.
Yeah.
So this squad is one with the Shrek. If the Panzer II can push it though, if he gets within really, really close and push it, preventing the Shrek from firing and then chasing it on retreat, especially with the officer and with the Sturm Pioneers, I'm surprised he didn't go for that one.
He was trying to bait the Shrek shot out, I think, and he did manage to do so. The airborne are going to retreat from this one though and should be safe. Officer, again, being very, very far forward.
Gets retreated again.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he didn't retreat the Sturm Pioneers. They were a little bit far off.
What do you think happens back at base? You just grab some young corporal or something and just say, you're a Sturm officer now. They put a new cap on him, give him a new jacket. And
no, well, how it works is who's the son of someone important?
Oh,
you.
Right, yeah.
You're an officer now. Now you're in charge of all these lives. So normally it's whoever has the family ties, even if they're a completely incompetent officer and have no idea and get everyone killed. Because you're the relative of someone important, you're the new officer.
Sounds good.
And that happened for pretty much every country, not just Germany. Hasn't gotten the 50 cal upgrade on the Sherman. Really should do that. Gives a lot of anti-infantry firepower, especially good at chasing units on retreat. That's the assault artillery from PanzerGrenadierAngreifen. Will probably wipe the fighting position if nothing else.
Heavily worth. How many munitions for a fighting position these days, machine?
60.
60. That's right. Really? Is that only
fighting position?
Oh, 200. No, that's what I mean.
Oh,
like
you 200
to kill it. Yeah.
Actually gets a nice shot.
Gonna go down here.
Wasn't behind the heavy cover technically, so he hit that one. May even lose it as well on retreat to the M19s. Yep. Gets wiped.
There we are.
A nice little victory there for Spanky. He may even decide to recrew that for himself. Nice to put in a garrison.
Nice camping there, but veterancy coming down onto these.
Yep, I don't think the real Sherman want that rocket inverter.
I mean, no, I wouldn't want that rocket inverter. So Sherman's going to be backing off. Now, I've got to be careful of those Volshreks. There's quite a few of them down there, and one is going to be refacing to try and deal with the P2 as well.
Yep, a fair bit of efficiency as well on the Volks, so they're going to be doing a lot of extra accuracy. Panzer II going in very deep, and one is firing. He may go in for the D crew. Got to be careful, he doesn't go through the firing out. Sherman's going to cut off. AT grenade lands. Sherman won't penetrate, and the M1 is within the firing arc. Probably shouldn't have been that aggressive with the Panzer II, given the heavy cover. The Panzer II isn't that powerful. Panzer II is they're very reliant on squads being out in the open. They shred so quickly, but if a squad's behind heavy cover, they just miss all the time.
And up until that point, the P2 play had actually been really nice from PanzerGrenadier. He was using it on the opposite flank to where the main engagement was going on. He was looking to chase individual squads out when they were, as you were saying, out of cover. So unlucky that he did lose that one. Pretty big fuel investment there. We'll have to see what he decides to go for to cover that. The now lacking part of his army. Again, strong officer very far forward.
Yeah, you really want to have that behind your infantry so you don't get sniped and have it retreat. Other than that, this is the problem with Langreskaya South, is even if you have the entire map and you are such in a strong position, it's really hard to actually push your opponent and deny the territory. Because of the way the points are so close together, you just can't decap your opponent even when you have the better position. So the fuel's been decapped now, but he still has the munitions, 3 strap points, and we're gonna see the King Tiger come out eventually, and there can be a real problem to deal with. At least this is not a bad map for Jacksons. You can use them because of how open it is, but we've seen so many games where the Oberkommando West can be on such a bad position, just have no units, no territory, no VPs. But once the King Tiger comes out, it's just basically an I win button. You can't really deal with it when you don't have enough AT. And by enough AT, you know, pretty much 3 Jacksons is what you need. And that's then forgiving or foregoing any of your anti-infantry tanks, which a lot of times you need against the Obersoldaten.
3 Jacksons, 2 Shermans, an M1, and a lucky rabbit's foot.
Yeah.
In general.
That's right.
Can definitely be very tough to deal with. I really do like that, a Panzer headquarter location. It is nice, isn't it? Right between the garrisons.
It is. The only problem is that he hasn't blocked the hedges.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can. I have to experiment with that. I'm pretty sure Shrek's would. I know like a Sherman would, but like as for a Puma, probably would get the fence, but you wouldn't get the hedge.
Yeah. See how it goes.
Because that's the one problem, is if he denied the fuel, that would be much stronger. Going for a Panther. The Panther's going to be nice against the Sherman, but he can't rely on the Sherman to deal with the M19 airborne. That being said, he has Veterancy 5 on his Panzer Fusiliers, and they're pretty deadly. Spanky's actually called in his IR Pathfinders. They're okay, but the main thing about them that's amazing is their coordinated artillery barrage. It's really powerful. It's so good against blobs, and that's basically what we do have PanzerGrenadier relying on, is those blobs to deal with the infantry. So the main thing about them is just the delay is so small and the AoE is so huge that the arty can be incredibly strong. I forget the name of it. It's artillery barrage rather, and he's got 500 munitions, so that's going to be very powerful, especially against garrisons. You can blow them up quite quickly. So a nice response. I do like that. You can destroy stuff with that pretty easily.
There's a bit of room to play with there. I think it'd be nice for him. We're going fairly aggressive though.
They have a lot of sight range as well, but they're not very good in combat.
Yeah.
You also have fake barrage, good for your mind games. Sherman
mind games are good. Doing
pretty good damage. He's Veterancy 1, and I really don't know why he hasn't got that 50 cal upgrade. He must just forget about it. It's one of those no-brainer upgrade that you should always get.
Yeah, just increases the damage so much. Here comes a bit of arty coming down. The Panther's going to be walking through as well.
May get caught by the Volks, get destroyed.
Wow. That's the first shot as well.
And look how accurate it is.
Oh, wow.
It's strong.
That's strong.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
It's basically the major arty that hit puberty.
It's a nice analogy. I do like it here. So the Panther's gone balls deep because that's about the only thing the Panther knows how to do. Finds the major.
Now the Panther should crush this. That'd be nice to see.
That'd be a nice crush. So
wiping the major wouldn't be a huge deal, but it will get rid of some of that pop cap. So far the major hasn't been having much of an impact, and that's not a surprise. But when you have recon on your commander and when you have really good arty on your IR Pathfinder, there's no reason to use the major really, apart from that forward retreat point, retreating through 2 squads of Vet 3 infantry, and the 50 cal. If he loses that Vet 5 Panzer Fusiliers, that will be a huge blow. Didn't actually focus it with his paratroopers, so they will survive this one. And I think the AT grenade penetrated that Panther. I think going for the Panther is going to be a bit of a problem because there's no way for PanzerGrenadier to deal with the vetted infantry of Spanky. Waiting for the King Tiger would have been a better move in my opinion.
Yeah, there's just so much Vet 3 here. I mean, Vet 3 airborne with the M19s and bazookas and all to hell of all other things. Going to be taking the fuel point on the left-hand side as well. So no tank building just yet here from Spanky. Don't think he has the pop cap for a Jackson. Oh no,
pop
he
cap.
does.
He does.
Yeah. I was just checking, so I hadn't looked at it yet.
Yeah.
So,
one Sherman, one Jackson is a good combination.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I just want to go ahead and go for it.
Because the Jacksons are so squishy on their own that they just die really quickly to anything. But if you have the Sherman in front, then the Sherman takes the damage, absorbs all of the health. And the Shermans are actually, they have a fair bit of health. Not exactly a lot of armor, but they can take a lot of punishment before being dropped. There is the artillery barrage from the Pathfinders. I think it's about half HP, if I'm not mistaken. If it hits properly. Yeah, about half. Oh, more than half. Wow. Yeah, it's really strong.
We're taking quite low there.
It's really, really strong. And
well, hang on, was there more smoke? Was that the major barrage as well?
Oh, it was the major barrage.
Major barrage. Major barrage is good for something. Called it. No,
that's
I didn't
combination.
actually, but yeah, the Panzer headquarters are going to go down here. So that's what you need. You need your Pathfinder's barrage, you need a major barrage, and then because the major barrage will only hit one shell, you need a Sherman to follow it up. It's the perfect combination.
That's actually pretty scary, though, that you can basically just instantly destroy a Panzer headquarters with 2 barrages. That's just forced retreat, but I think the forced retreat was onto the Storm Officer himself. So, not sure how this game is going. With the Panzer headquarters gone, there's no Obersoldaten, and with only the Panther and with no Obersoldaten, I don't see how PanzerGrenadierAngreifen is going to be able to deal with this vetted infantry. Maybe if he goes for a Stuka, and that's an option, and I think that's all he really can do at this stage.
He does have the one squad of ogres.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, they did actually hit the field, just in time, I believe.
But Vet 0 against Vet 3?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I mean, as I was saying, if you get the Obers around the same time you saw the airborne, yeah, it's okay. They're going to be vetting up at around the same level. Obers might be a little bit behind, and they're going to scale better. Instead, though, now we have Vet 0 Obers, and they're just going to bleed manpower, really, for PanzerGrenadier.
Sort of the same with Guards. It's another AT grenade penetration. Doesn't always get that against the Panther, especially because they got their frontal armor buffed recently. And the captured Raketenwerfer is very important for Spanky, giving him that extra Panther deterrent. Ober's looking to wipe that one, but the Sherman will be a very good anti-Obersoldaten method. And until the Panther can wipe that, the Ober's is going to have to play a lot more defensively. The HE Sherman's pretty effective against those Obers.
Oh yeah. Panther not really having that much impact.
No.
The grades are having some fun penetration, and that's why it hasn't been moving as effectively as it could have been. Which means when Spanky does decide to go for a Jackson, for example, Panther's not really going to have any veterans. He hasn't been dueling with the Sherman at all.
That's right,
won't have as much of an impact during those tank battles.
And if you look at the fuel, PanzerGrenadierAngreifen could have gone his King Tiger now. He would have been pushed back a fair bit further because of no real way of dealing with the Sherman without having that Panther, but I think he could have held out. One of the strengths of Oberkommando West is that you do have some really good non-fuel based AT. The Volksschrecks, the Raketenwerfers, they're very good at holding and buying time for the King Tiger.
And with that being said, though, he's going for a Stuka, realizes he's probably not going to have enough time to go for the King Tiger now. He's got the Panther, and all those strums are low.
Yeah, M1 firing at the rear armor, really long range with the Vet 1 ability. Panther going to have to back away from that one. The Shrek doing some nice damage. He actually hit the turret with that. He could have pushed the paratroopers for the Sturm Pioneers. Didn't quite, though. A nice push here, though, but that is the artillery barrage from the Pathfinders moving through it, though. So nice dodge. He will force away the infantry and will almost wipe the squad, but Sherman going to force them away. So it's good play from PanzerGrenadier, holding on to as much territory as he has, and with the Stuka, all of a sudden PanzerGrenadier has a really strong way of dealing with those vetted infantry.
It does indeed. We'll see how much he can take advantage of this. Looking towards the VPs. 326 here for Spanky, 303 for PanzerGrenadierAngreifen. So he's
double Jackson.
He's not really in any hardcore danger. Yeah, double Jackson. Spanky decides, I've had enough on 2 of those. May go for a Sherman instead, but
yep.
Realizes, oh, I've got a lot of fuel. We'll probably spend that.
Well, he was floating a lot of munitions, manpower and fuel, as well as his pop cap.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't really sure what he wanted.
Should go for his captain. Supervise is actually awesome.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Supervise is ridiculous.
He did lose it, but it doesn't cost any fuel.
Yeah,
It's only the 320.
And I mean, it's worth it to have a couple of the bazookas. I mean, it's a pretty strong squad.
Once again, officers in the front. He really shouldn't be in the front, especially because he's actually in the front of his unit.
Yeah.
And that means they'll get focused quite easily.
Yeah.
So
leading the charge. He's a bold storm officer.
Yeah, double Jacksons will be great against the Panther, but it will give him a lot less.
Oh, he's going Jackson Sherman.
Oh yeah, that's good. Actually, I think that's a better choice than the double Jackson. M1 as well, having some good penetration. That is the M Stuka. Well, nice. Oh, he angled it.
Oh, that angled it. Beautiful.
That was just such great play. He predicted the response.
Yeah.
And he wipes the M1, and that was a Vet 3 M1, and they're pretty scary.
That was some pretty beautiful play there.
Yeah, that was nice. And now the Panthers Vet 1 for the combat blitz gives it a lot of extra chase potential. Right-clicking on a point is bad because AoE is very strong against right-clicking on points.
Oh, the Sherman's going to chase as well, and this is the main vetted squad here. This is the big deal here, the G43 Pigarens.
Ooh, if he had the 50 cal, he may wipe that one. He probably still will, though, given how low they are. And here come the blob. He gets the Vet 5.
Is ridiculous.
Panzer Fusiliers. You don't right-click on points. When you right-click on a point, they blob up. There is the Panther blitzkrieging in for the Sherman. He will get within a range here. Not a lot of supporting AT. Whereas the Jackson has hit the...
Oh, field, yeah, it's coming on now.
Oh, there's the Jackson.
The jigs are real from that Sherman as well. The Jackson's playing tank duty.
Yeah, but the Panther has a lot of extra rate of fire, and it will take it out in only 3 shots. A nice Shrek, though, from the airborne. He may lose the Jackson here to the Panther, but the Panther's pretty low as well. He gets the Jackson. And the Sherman gets a nice rear armor here. That's a freshly built Sherman, so he's on full HP. Panther has Federal C2, but it will get taken out. And that is the only armor for our Oberkommando West. PanzerGrenadier, he has no way now of dealing with the double Sherman.
He really needed to keep that Panther alive, if only the hold on to VPs at this point. Because he had the Stuga, he could deal with infantry. With the Panther, he could duel or try and hold points. He could at least hold his position. Now he doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have the Spare Panzer headquarters. He can't rebuild that Panther, and he's way too far off that King Tiger. Yeah,
exactly. It was a nice engagement, but just given how much float there was from Spanky, mean that there was just so much tank reinforcements. We wanted to wipe the Sherman, and I don't think he expected the Jackson, and then the second Sherman as well. He just bit off a bit more than he could chew. Because if he did wipe the Sherman, he would have been in a good spot. We'll get the fighting position. Almost getting the repair crew as well, the vehicle crew. But now I think once the Shermans are repaired, we're going to see some really aggressive play to wipe the Stuka.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Sherman's definitely having the propensity to be able to chase down that Stuka. It's the only real danger left here. For Spanky, has so much vetted. Infantry has so much map control at this point. Very hard to deal with. Goes for a Puma. I mean, it's a pretty last-ditch effort here from PanzerGrenadier.
Yeah, not exactly ideal, but if your micro is on point, the Pumas can be a very good deterrent to the Shermans because they outrange them. Once in the Storm Officer being focused, but didn't get wiped in time. He might, though, getting stuck on the Volksgrenadiers. He gets wiped.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a bug, I think, getting caught. You're supposed to ignore collisions when you're retreating, and you do, but for some reason, you got caught.
Sometimes you don't.
Yeah, the retreating's weird. There's a lot of bugs where units just stop moving when they're retreating. So, Rocket and Verfa leading the charge alongside the Major and the paratroopers. These paratroopers have been having a really strong impact. I think that combat drop was a big turnaround point here for Spanky.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because he needed those infantry. The artillery barrage will do a fair bit of damage.
Oh, it was fake. Was it? Oh, real?
No, that was a Major, so
it
was
awful.
Oh,
it was a Major Raz, was it?
Yeah. See, that Major barrage is so bad. That was actually a Shrek that did more damage than the major barrage.
It's quite disappointing,
the major
isn't it?
barrage is just awful.
It really is. Sherman's going to be moving in now, though, and this looks like it's going to be game over here. Spanky playing a pretty fantastic game.
He did. He played it well. He really good unit preservation as well. He didn't really lose anything apart from the rear echelon, and, you know, losing rear echelon is not a big deal.
And that was starting 4 rear echelon as well, we have to remember, so.
And he didn't have any map control because of that rear echelon, so I think it didn't really pay off. I wouldn't recommend the rear echelon spam start, but he definitely turned it around. Got a lot of vehicle wipes. I think PanzerGrenadier just lost far too many vehicles. Shermans will chase down the Puma. The smoke won't save you from that many Shermans, and this is game over. GG coming any minute now from PanzerGrenadier.
Sherman's having an absolute field day.
Yeah, but you have to bear in mind what would have happened if the airborne got the double bazookas. There would have just been not really any anti-infantry firepower, and that's the problem with the air-dropped combat group.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable, but nice game.
Definitely was, yeah.
I think the King Tiger would be the better choice.
Probably, yeah. To save up for it, I mean, it's a difficult decision at the time, but given how he knew Spanky was ahead on fuel. I mean, despite not having the Jackhands, had the ability to be able to go for them. Given the amount of fuel float that he had, the Panther all of a sudden looks like a little bit less of an option.
Yeah, and that's sort of the problem when you do lose that Puma, is because if your opponent rushes out a Sherman and they rush out the M8s, it can be hard to hold on until the King Tiger.
Yeah, plus it was Puma, P2, P2, and lost all 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but keeping the Puma is very important for stalling for the King Tiger, because then you do have that AT, and you are able to ward off those tanks. But we'll wrap this one up with you, General Gentlemen. Be sure to subscribe for more Company of Heroes 2 action. Catch you later.